What's up, guys? Artem MMA Analysis here. Going to be talking about UFC Fight Night Dos Anjos versus Fiziev, and this is my final predictions. It's not really going to be a breakdown as such like I normally do. I've just had kind of like a busy week and I was really tired. It's also my birthday today. I've turned 20 years old today, so I'm feeling pretty old. But no, I've just got quite a bit going on right now. I've got a busy week, so I'm just going to be kind of quickly giving my predictions for the card, kind of like I normally do. So the first one, we've got Ronnie Lawrence versus Saeed Yokub Kakramonov, and I feel like on a full camp, maybe Saeed Yokub Kakramonov should be able to beat Ronnie Lawrence. Like, Saeed Yokub Kakramonov's got a really good background in judo. He's also got a Sanda background as well. Ronnie Lawrence, though, he has a really good wrestling. I did pick him to beat Mana Martinez, but he was a pretty big favourite in that fight there, and he did win a decision. But Ronnie Lawrence, a really good fighter. Saeed Yokub Kakramonov, really good fighter as well. And I just think that Saeed Yokub Kakramonov probably should win this one here. I know that he's not actually training at Team Oyama for this fight as well, which is interesting, but it's really hard to be confident either way because this is such a good prospect versus prospect fight, and it should be higher up on the card. Swap out the Chase Sherman fight for this one, but yeah, give me Kakramonov, man. I do think that as well he's got more finishing ability, and I'm going to be going with like a defensive submission for Kakramonov. I don't know, like, it's usually something that Kia can be somewhat concerned about when you see a guy jumping guillotine so often, like Kakramonov did in his short notice fight against Trevin Jones, but I do think that Kakramonov will be looking for a lot of defensive submissions as well when Lawrence is shooting on him, so give me Kakramonov by submission at some point in the fight. Kenichi Njoku versus Carl Roberson. I am picking Kenichi Njoku to win this one here. I don't really trust him, though. I really don't trust Kennedy. You know, he could be a good prospect, or he could have been a good prospect, but he's just a couple of things, man, just haven't quite worked out for him. The same as Carl Roberson in a way. Like, look at his 3-fight losing streak. You know, he lost to Marvin Vettori at middleweight, title challenger. Brendan Allen at middleweight as well, really good fighter, and then he recently lost to Khalil Roundtree, and Khalil Roundtree, man, what a savage performance from him. But Kenichi Njoku, man, like, he just disappointed me. Like, you know, he beat where was it? He beat Carlos Ulberg, you know, and he got a little bit of hype behind him. He beat Danilo Marquez, you know, a little bit of hype behind him. Then he fought Daun Jung's a really good prospect. I picked Daun Jung to win, and he won it. But he kind of like hit the arm, like the defending arm of Njoku with his elbow, and he still managed to finish him. But he was able to take so many shots from Ulberg. And then he lost, but he didn't really, to Nagu Muranu. Like, I mean, I think I had money on Nagu Muranu because I think he was an underdog then. But so I'm not complaining, but I think he did win that fight if you watch it back. But that was just a weird fight. That was just a really weird fight anyway, to be honest. It wasn't that great. But Njoku's the pick. I'm not super confident in him, but I will be trusting him to win this one in this fight. Now, Brundage versus Gore. I originally picked Cody Brundage, and if Cody Brundage ends up winning, guys, I'm going to be so mad, because I've been on Cody Brundage until, you know, I kind of looked into it a little bit more, and I'm still not sold on Tresean Gore, guys. Like, I'm honest, I'm not really sold on him, and maybe Tresean Gore, I know Tresean Gore's one of his training partners or one of his buddies commented on my video and was like, don't pick against Tresean Gore. That didn't influence my pick, just so you know, but I'm still not sold on him, man, but it's just that Cody Brundage, you know, I rewatched that Dolce Lungwimbula fight, and he was getting beaten up, and I feel like if Tresean Gore ends up in that same position, he's going to do the damage, and I feel like he's going to find the finish. Once again, though, I'm not going to lie, like, I'm going to be open and honest, I'm not too sold on Tresean Gore. I know people are, like, saying he's a lock, some people are putting down a lot of money on him. I don't agree with that confidence, man, but Brundage, he hasn't impressed me that much, truthfully. Like, yeah, he got a really good guillotine against Dolce Lungwimbula, but Dolce Lungwimbula really could have won that fight easily if he just played a little bit smarter. So, give me Gore by KO. Brundage being in trouble against Lungwimbula doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence, so yeah, give me Gore to win that one by KO. Now, Antonina Shevchenko versus Courtney Casey. We've got some low-level women's MMA fighting. I know Shevchenko has the same name as Valentina, but she's just nowhere near as good. And even then, Valentina is starting to be figured out by some of the top prospects at 125. But Antonina Shevchenko, the truth is, you know, she's got a really good striking background, so does Valentina, but she just hasn't been able to put it all together in MMA like her sister has. And that's just me being truthful and honest. You know, at one point, she had a 7-1 record, or an 8-1 record, which is pretty awesome, but recently it's kind of been found out that you can grapple with Chivchenko, and it gives her a lot of problems, you know, like Andrea Lee submitted her, Casey O'Neill used a lot of grappling and beat her there, Chukagian, even more of a striker, used some grappling and beat her. Courtney Casey, though, Do I think that Courtney Casey's grappling is going to be enough to beat Chivchenko? Personally, I don't think so. But I think maybe the odds are a little bit too wide here. I think you're paying a tax on that Chivchenko name. I'm picking Chivchenko to win. I think she keeps the fight on the feet and out volumes Courtney Casey on the feet. But maybe this is an opportunity for Courtney Casey to really turn her career around at the end of it. But yeah, Shevchenko's almost 38 years old as well. That's crazy. But yeah, I'm picking her to win. Now, Ricky Turcios, the bantamweight Tony Ferguson, man. I love that nickname for him. He's a great guy. Like, he's so funny. He won the Ultimate Fighter as well. He's got a little bit of hype behind him from that. And he's fighting Eliman Zahabi. And Eliman Zahabi, you know, he beat Draco Rodriguez. But, you know, Draco Rodriguez, unfortunately, hasn't proven to be the greatest prospect in the world. He got dropped from the UFC. And now he's lost outside of the UFC as well. You know, he lost to Vince Morales, who's all right. You know, he's getting there. Ricardo Ramos is a pretty good prospect, but this guy does not fight often at all. He's fought like 3 times in about 4 or 5 years. Man, Zahabi really ain't fighting that often, and pretty Ricky Turcios, kind of the same thing. But hey, man, he took some time off. He went into the Ultimate Fighter, and he's making a quick turnaround, I guess. Not really at all, actually. I've been waiting for Ricky Turcios to come back for so long. I picked Ricky Turcios to win the whole thing. I picked him to win the Ultimate Fighter, and I think this is a winnable matchup for him, and I do believe he can beat Zahabi. He does have KO power, but he's never really shown it until that Draco Rodriguez fight. And Ricky Turcios, if it comes to the grappling as well, I think he's going to be able to use some wrestling. I think he's just going to be a little bit better kind of everywhere than Zahabi, to be truthful, and I think he probably will win a decision in this one here. Tough fight, next one. Wow, I need to sneeze as well. Really awkward feeling right now, guys. Cynthia Calvillo versus Nina Nunes. I see a lot of people picking I see a lot of people picking Nina Nunes, and the truth is, man, I still don't. I mean, I want to pick Nina Nunes, I really do, because I think that she's actually quite a good striker, but she's quite old. You know, she's almost 37 years old. Cynthia Calvillo's pretty old as well. She's almost 35, which is crazy because only a few years ago, I remember Cynthia Calvillo kind of being that prospect to look out for coming out of Team Alpha Male when Cody Garbrandt was on top, or was on the rise, you know. And Calvillo got signed as well at the same time, and she was coming up herself, but on a 3-fight losing streak. But let's look at the competition. Andrea Lee on very short notice after getting TKO'd by Jessica Andrade, so that's a bit near. Lost to Caitlin Chukagian as well, former title challenger, potentially a future title challenger as well, which is crazy if she can get past Jessica Andrade. Now, Nina Nunes, you know, she obviously had the child with Amanda Nunes, got married, and come back against Mackenzie Dern. That's a tough comeback fight, man. And she got submitted, I believe, quite early on. But on the feed, she looks really good. But Mackenzie Dern really doesn't have very good striking. But at one point, though, you know, a couple of those wins on Nina Nunes' records actually don't look too bad. I mean, a lot of them have aged really badly, like Gadalha, Randa Marcos, and Angela Hill. They've all aged terribly, to be fair. But at the time, they were pretty good wins. But now she's moving up to 125. I think Cynthia Calvillo, man, I'm just going to trust Cynthia Calvillo to use her grappling in this one and get the fight to the ground. But maybe Nina Nunes could find something. I wouldn't mind if Nina Nunes won, but I will be picking Calvillo myself. But I've seen a few Nunes picks. Now, Jamie Malaki versus Michael Johnson. The truth is, you know, I'm from New Zealand, and I do like to support the guys from New Zealand. I like to support the guys from Australia. And I really want Michael Johnson to win, in truth. Like, he's a veteran there, and I feel like it's Michael Johnson title run time, boys. He's about to make a title run. I'm picking Jamie Malaki. I feel like the odds are quite wide, though, you know. But hey, it is what it is. Jamie Malaki, in hindsight, lasting a round on the feet with Yarlin Turner, rounds and a half, ain't looking too bad. And yeah, before that, you know, he got a couple of KOs. I don't think he's going to KO Michael Johnson. I think it's going to be a really scrappy fight, which MJ does love to be in, and so does Malaki. I think we're going to see a bit of a scrap between two guys here, the up-and-comer versus the veteran, and I think we're going to see Malaki win. I don't think he gets Johnson out of there. Like, let's look at his recent losses. He got KO'd by Josh Emmett, and that was 3 years ago. Maybe Malaki, I mean, he's 36 years old now. Maybe Malaki finds something, but I'm not going to trust him to. I'm going to pick him to win a decision in this one here, unless Michael Johnson is really done. But even then, he had a competitive fight for as long as it lasted against Alan Patrick, and that's not a good look at all. But yeah, I'll be going with Malaki to win this one here. I'm just going to pick him straight. I mean, maybe he wins a KO, maybe he doesn't, but we'll see. And Jared Bandera versus Chase Sherman. A lot of people have been like, why is Chase Sherman still in the roster, this and that, but Artem MMA Analysis here, about to bring you some news, because I seem to be a lot more knowledgeable against like these things that a lot of people don't seem to know. Like not really important stuff, just stuff. Like Chase Sherman actually has signed a 4-fight contract with the UFC. So even if he loses to Jared Bandera, he's still got 2 more fights on the contract. Like this guy could be 15-13 before he gets cut from the promotion again. But what happened was he got cut from the roster after he lost to Jake Collier, and then to assign a short notice bout with Alexander Romanov, the UFC gave Chase Sherman a 4-fight contract and they doubled his pay just to fight Romanov on short notice. That's how badly they wanted Romanov to fight. They want Romanov to be a prospect. They believe Romanov's a problem. They gave Chase Sherman a 4-fight contract and double pay just so he can fight Romanov. So yeah, we're getting him against Bandera. I think Bandera wins it. I think Bandera might even get a finish at some point. I mean, it's low-level heavyweight MMA. Like, who knows what's going to happen? But Chase Sherman, he's got that BKFC experience. He kind of come back against EK Villanueva. Looked alright in that fight, but looked really bad after that, to be fair. But Jared Bandera, I think he wins the fight. I think he's just more well-rounded. I think he's just a little bit better. I think he wins the fight. Maybe he gets a finish, maybe he doesn't. I mean, it's a low-level heavyweight MMA. I'm not that confident. But I'm picking Bandera. I'm somewhat confident in Bandera as well. But moving on as well, this whole card I'm not really that confident in, to be fair. Said Nurmagomedov versus Douglas Silva de Andrade. The original pick was Said Nurmagomedov with not a lot of confidence at all. And I still feel that same way. People are saying Said Nurmagomedov is a lock. And on paper, to me, personally, he doesn't really look like a lock. I'm not that confident in Said to dominate Douglas Silva de Andrade. He's a veteran, he's 28-4. That's a crazy good record. 32 fights. I mean, I feel like 28-4 is an underrated record to have. I mean, if you think about it, that is insane. 28 wins, 4 losses is a crazy record. But Said Nurmagomedov, man, he's a really good prospect. Recently subbed Cody Stamann, but he was on a big losing streak at the time, or at least he went on a losing streak after that. So it didn't age too well. Recently knocked out Eddie Wineland. So, yeah. But before that, though, beat Mark Striegel, who, once again, has turned out to not be that great. I mean, these wins he's had haven't aged very well. Lost to Hayone Barcelos. Even that loss hasn't aged super well since he lost to a short notice Victor Henry. Ricardo Ramos win has aged well. I mean, I think Josh Scoggins isn't even in the UFC anymore. Like, so Nurmagomedov's wins have aged badly. And call me a hater all you want, but it's just the truth, man. Douglas Silva de Andrade recently beat Sergey Morozov in a crazy fight where he lost the first and come back. And I'm picking Said Nurmagomedov to finish the fight at some point. I don't think it goes all the way. I think he probably does find a submission, but I'm not sharing the confidence that everyone else is. You know what I mean? I just kind of see things. I see a path to victory for Andrade at some point, but I don't think he's going to get it. I really do believe that Said Nurmagomedov should win this fight. Now, Caio Borralho, I love Caio Borralho as a prospect. Tapology have completely stuffed this up. Caio Borralho is not 5'10". This guy is huge for a middleweight, and Armen Petrosyan is not 6'2" either. If you Google Armen Petrosyan UFC, Wikipedia has him listed at 5'11", which is probably a lot more accurate. And Caio Borralho on Sherdog, if my internet decides to load, is listed at 6'1". So Caio Borralho is bigger than Armen Petrosyan. He's definitely bigger than Armen Petrosyan. Even if he was 5'10", he's huge. This guy's massive. But yeah, he beat Gadzhimar Gadzhiev. I picked him as the underdog to win that one there, and he looked really, really good before the technical decision. Unfortunate situation there. Armen Petrosyan, as I said, got signed on the same Dana White's Contender Series episode as Caio Borralho. In fact, I believe that they were actually sitting beside each other when they both got signed to the UFC. So it's quite interesting that they've made this matchup. It's prospect versus prospect, younger prospect versus older prospect. And Caio, he's only 29 years old. Armen Petrosyan's almost 32, so he's getting older. He's quite an old prospect at this point, man. I think Caio Borralho does it, and I think he finds the submission. A lot of people don't know this, but Borralho has spent a lot of time training with Damian Maia in Jiu-Jitsu, and I'm trusting that, man. I'm trusting Borralho to get the fight to the ground and lock up a sub. I do believe he finds it. Petrosyan, really good kickboxer. Maybe he could catch Borralho with something, because he does leave himself open on the feet sometimes, but Borralho to get the fight to the ground and submission is my pick. And moving on to the main event, man, I've always wanted to pick RDA for this one. At one point I was on RDA, but I just can't be on RDA anymore, man. I'm sorry. I'm picking Rafael Fiziev to win this fight. I believe most of the fight is going to take place on the feet, and that's where Fiziev wants it, man. He's a really, really good striker. He's on a 5-fight win streak right now. Coming to the UFC undefeated at 6-0. Got knocked out by a spinning back fist, and now he's bounced back since then. And over a really good win over Brad Riddell. You know, he didn't do it as quickly as Yalan Turner, but still a really good win over Brad Riddell. And Rafael dos Anjos, former champion, a really good test for literally anyone in the division. But you've got to look at these results for Rafael dos Anjos. Not sounding like a hater, but just being realistic, you know? Like, he beat Renato Moicano in a very, very dominant win. Very dominant win, but Renato Moicano took that fight in like 4 or 5 days notice, you know. He beat Paul Felder, who once again took it on short notice, and even then wasn't really training too much. I think even Paul Felder retired before that, am I correct in saying that, and come out of retirement to fight RDA. Lost to Michael Chiesa at 170, lost to Leon Edwards at 170, that kind of happens, you know. Beat Kevin Lee, it's a pretty good win, I guess. Was at the time anyway, but Rafael Fiziev, really good win streak. He beat Alex White, I don't think he's in the UFC anymore, Mark Diakese, Renato Moicano, Big Money Moicano, Bobby Green. Yeah, it was a weird fight. A lot of people were kind of using that as they're worried about the cardio of Fiziev, and I understand. But he showed in his fight against Brad Riddell that he's able to tone it down a little bit and not throw constant volume like he did in that Bobby Green fight. So I think he's going to do the same here. I think Fiziev, man, I think maybe if it does get to the 4th or the 5th round, RDA could take over and maybe make something happen. But I'm going to trust Fiziev here. I think I'm going to trust Fiziev to find something, man. I'm gonna trust him. I think he does find the KO. So let me get Fiziev here. I think he's gonna be so much faster than RDA on the feet. RDA's been injured so many times in his career. He'll be coming into the UFC into this fight. Sorry, a little bit slower. Like me right now, I'm so tired, and I'm gonna leave it there before I say something really dumb. But yeah, I'm sorry guys. I'm just really tired. Just a really short video for this one here. I'll try and get back into it next week, but. Yeah, that's just me for now, and I'll catch you all later in the next one. As always, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.